Hello, my name is Alex Espinosa Johnson, and I'm here with Captain Bro, the
Senior Army instructor here at North Pitt High.
and today we'll be talking about the Second Amendment, and we'll be interviewing Captain Bro. First question is, what are your feelings on the Second Amendment?
Well, for the Second Amendment, I think that people should have the right to bear arms in America.
Okay. How do you feel about guns at school?
Well, obviously we have rules against guns at school because, of safety issues. Now if people like Officer Judge and if trained personnel have guns that after they've been trained properly, then I don't have an issue with a trained personnel carrying a weapon at the school.
Okay. And do you think the gun control screening process we have now is good enough?
Well, we do have a lot of regulations, and those do work if they're used. And the problem is that different states are allowed to choose their own regulations, over federal regulations. But in general, we have regulations. It's just having the resources to do the actual background checks. Also, there's some loopholes in the laws. For example, people that go to gun shows are able to sell individual weapons at gun shows without having to go through any type of regulation. So some of those loopholes probably need to be closed.
Right, I agree. Do you think there should be more regulations?
Well, I don't know if there should be more regulations. Like I said, there's a few loopholes that probably need to be closed, and the laws that we have existing on the books need to be enforced, and need to make sure that we follow them and we don't allow people who shouldn't have weapons to get them in their hands.
Okay. Last question. Do you think anyone should be able to buy a gun, or do you think there should be regulations?
Well, there are already regulations preventing people who have mental illnesses and other people who shouldn't carry weapons or might have criminal backgrounds. So I believe as long as we keep that standard and uphold those standards where we're not selling to people without doing proper background checks, I think that'll keep everything safe. And I mean, as it is right now, I'm not sure if it's age 18 or 21. Like I said, some of the states are able to make their own regulations on, but obviously statistics have shown that younger people are the ones that are committing crimes with weapons. So the older you make the age, 21 versus 18 might be the safest route, but then you're infringing on people's rights. So it's the question, I guess, is whether it's 18 or 21 as a legal age to purchase weapons.
Right. And that'll be it. Alex Johnson, Captain Bro, closing out. Here I am with Mr. Jones, correct? I am Alex Espinosa Johnson. I'll be asking him questions about the Second Amendment. First question. What are your feelings on the Second Amendment?
Well, I definitely, Alex, feel like it is everybody's right to own a weapon if they want to. I mean, it was put there by our founding fathers, so I don't think that should be taken away.
Okay. Second question, how do you feel about guns at school?
I feel like only qualified individuals, such as your law enforcement officers, should probably own guns or have guns at school. If it ever gets to the stage where staff are able to, they need to be trained and go through certain courses to do that. I don't feel like anyone should be able to do it.
Okay. Do you think the gun control screening process we have now is good enough?
I feel like it probably needs to be a bit stricter. Now, I own guns, so I'm pro-gun, but I do feel like people need to go through a very strenuous process to be able to own certain types of guns. Like automatic rifles, not everybody needs one of those.
All right.
Seriously.
Yeah. Automatic.
Yeah.
Kick to it.
Yeah.
Do you think there should be more regulation with weapons?
with certain types. Like I said, the automatic weapons I would. I mean, you've already got to be like 21 to buy a pistol, 18 to buy a rifle, and I feel like those are okay. I do feel like background checks would be very important because I just honestly wouldn't trust anyone owning a gun. So I mean, some adjustments here, nothing major, nothing too extreme, but I do think some adjustments would be make for a safer environment. Although, if people really want a gun, they're going to get one.
And do you think anyone should be able to buy a gun, or do you think there should be any regulations?
Yeah, I think there should be. I mean, it is I feel like it's our constitutional right as American citizens to own guns. But I feel like when some people make certain decisions in life, they kind of give up some rights.
With the criminal records?
Yeah, not saying they're all bad, not saying they can't be reformed and changed, of course, because everybody can be, or most people can be, but I do feel like there needs to be some restrictions there, like, I don't need a convicted felon buying an AR-15, like, they don't need one,
Right.
for
And
any reason at all.
how about people with mental health issues?
I'm probably gonna go with no, because one of the problems with probably gun violence is people who aren't thinking correctly, or maybe not be able to process information correctly, or just mature enough, honestly. Not saying anything against people with mental health, but I think common sense should rule out here at the end. I would like to think.
Okay. And that will be it. Alex and Mr. Jones closing out.
Hi, my name is Charisma, and I'm here with Mr. Harrington. I'm going to be asking him questions about the Second Amendment. Okay, the first question is, what are your feelings on the Second Amendment?
I don't need it. But I think the Second Amendment is something that's very important. It allows Americans to protect themselves and keep their homes safe and act in self-defense if need be with the use of a firearm.
Second question, how do you feel about guns at school?
I think guns are absolutely inappropriate at school, maybe school resource officer, of course, but other than that, no one else should have any firearms at school.
Do you think the gun control screening process we have now is good enough, or do you think there should be more regulations?
I think there should definitely be more regulations.
Do you think anyone should be able to buy a gun, or do you think there should be regulation?
Again, I think there definitely should be regulations because if someone, I think this might be another one of your questions that you're going to ask, if someone is mentally ill or they're ex-convict or something like that, and they have a tendency to be more violent and irrational and not think about what they're actually doing, and they're not using it in a situation to protect their home or to protect a loved one or in self-defense, then they don't, and they just use it just to bring harm to other people because they have a mental illness or they just have some propensity to be angry or something like that. They should not have. They should not be allowed to have a firearm.
Okay. Once again, my name is Charisma, and I'm here with Mr. Harrington, and that's all for today. Stop.
Hello, I'm Alex Espinosa Johnson, and I'm here with Coach Watford. About to talk to him about the Second Amendment. First question, what are your feelings on the Second Amendment?
Well, I think we have the right to bear arms. It's pointed out in our Constitution. Myself, I'm a gun owner, and my father was before him, and his father before him. You know, in their days, they used them to hunt. For us, it's more recreation, right, and protection. I think every American who's a law-abiding citizen has the right to own his weapons.
Okay. How do you feel about guns at school?
I don't think school is a place for guns. I mean, there's some talk about arming teachers and so forth. I just think that's counterintuitive. I don't think it makes kids feel any safer, and I certainly, as a staff member, wouldn't feel safe to know that some of my colleagues may or may not be prepared to have weapons in school.
Do you think the gun control screening process we have now is good enough?
Well, I think in any situation, laws are for good people, not criminals. So it doesn't matter. There are going to be folks that find a way to get guns regardless of the screening process. That's always been the case. You've got to find a way to educate and to eliminate guns getting into the hands of those who are going to commit crimes. And frankly, I don't know how we can do that.
If there were to put more regulations on guns and gun control, what regulations do you think should be put in place?
I think the ones we have in place are just fine. Again, we do background checks. Felons can't have weapons. We have an age requirement. It's like anything. It's like guys getting out of the wheel of a car and driving drunk, and that 3-ton machine killing somebody. There's no different. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. You can't legislate morality or authority. People just have to, we just have to stay vigilant and work hard to keep guns out of the hands of those who don't need them.
And so we had this discussion in class, talking about how the age is like 18 and you can own a gun. So do you think that age limit should go up?
Well, and here's my logic. At 18, you can go, you sent off to war and fight for your country. So I don't think that's a problem. I don't have a problem with that. It's like the legal age of drinking. When I was a kid, at 18, you could drink at 18. They raised the age. It hasn't stopped 18-year-olds from drinking. I don't think raising the age of 21 is going to stop 18-year-olds from having guns, particularly those who've gone to service